So here we go, friends. Eyes down, in fact, eyes forward to the cinema screen in your front room as we welcome back to the show Van Connery. Joins us each and every Friday. Always great to have him on board, absolutely live, with 1, 2, 3 top Freeview film recommendations for your consideration for the weekend. I match his 3 with 3 of mine, and you're spoiled for choice. Good morning, Van. How's your week been, mate? Have you been knocking yourself out of the London Film Festival? How many movies have you seen recently?
Would you believe I'm actually sitting this year out on account of I'm still not moved back fully to the south yet. I'm still in Cambridge, so I've not quite enjoyed it. But I did get to see Dear Evan Hansen, the movie adaptation, this week. And I can tell you, we're in for some fun when that one opens in a few weeks. Marvellous stuff. Okay, let's start with your first Freeview film recommendation. It's a, It's kind of passed into the language, this, because people now talk about sliding door moments, you know, forks in the road or whatever. It's on BBC One tonight, it's 11:25. Remind people of the story, the setup of this one, if you would, Van. Well, actually, as you say, it's become a boilerplate thing. Like nowadays, we would call this a multiverse story or a parallel universe story, but it is a parallel universe rom-com. Effectively, it's what happens when Gwyneth Paltrow, and this is where it gets a bit implausible, she's a British woman named Helen. And yes, she is trying the accent, as you'll hear when we get to the clip, and it is exactly as bad as you expect. But she is quite charming in this. She misses the tube one day. Only in another timeline, she doesn't. She gets on the tube, and when she gets on the tube, she manages to get home and catch her boyfriend cheating. When she doesn't get on the tube, an entirely different set of events unfold. And we watch 2 entirely different versions of Helen's life. One where she got on the tube and one where she didn't make it through the sliding doors unfold. Each one with positive and negative results, but each one involving the introduction of John Hannah back in the day as a romantic lead. This is on BBC One tonight at 11:25, as you say. I've got a clip for you of John Hannah attempting to console Gwyneth Paltrow, who incidentally at this moment, it's worth pointing out, has freshly adopted the haircut of 1998.
You know, under normal circumstances, etc., you're really nice and funny. My friend Anna thinks you're cute.
Wait, hold. Your friend Anna thinks I'm cute? Your friend Anna thinks I'm cute? I just blew. Wait. 285 and the wrong girl. Helen, listen. Sometimes we are plonked into people's lives when they just need to be cheered up and reassured, and it turns out that for some reason it's your job. We don't know why. In your case, it's my job. But I'll be honest, the fact that I find you moderately attractive just makes the job easier on my part. My intentions are completely honourable. I have no desire to overstep the mark. Seriously. I prefer diamonds or sapphires. Sorry.
And, of course, written and directed by Peter Howitt, who was formerly Joey from Bread, and who went on to make, I think, Antitrust, which I enjoyed, and also, I think, Johnny English, amongst many other films. Yes, yeah, I was shocked to find that one out as well. It was the antitrust thing for me. I was like, wait, antitrust? I assumed that was someone like Rob Cohen who did the Fast and the Furious or something like that. But no, this is also. Can we just take a moment to appreciate John Hannah's complaining there in 1998 that he spent $2.85 on a milkshake? I know. I mean, come on. Also, great soundtrack to this, very 90s-tastic. So that's Sliding Doors, BBC One tonight, 11:25. I've gone for a Talking Pictures TV 1970s cult classic. It's called Captain Kronos with a K, Vampire Hunter, from 1974. It is as bonkers as the title suggests. It was written and directed by a man called Brian Clemens, distant relation of Samuel Clemens, who was Mark Twain, but he's British, this fella. And he also had a big hand in, didn't actually create them, but kind of co-created, developed The Avengers, The Professionals, The Protectors, The Persuaders, all those big TV shows. I mean, his work on TV was hugely influential. He directed a few films. This, I think, is the best, and it's exactly as you'd expect. It's about a kind of hero called Captain Kronos, who's a vampire hunter. Have you seen this ever, Van, this movie? I have. I'm a big fan of this because I think it's one of the more overlooked sort of Hammer offerings. And also, I'm a very big Sam Raimi guy. So when you get to Army of Darkness, the third Evil Dead movie, it's very obvious that this has to be one of the inspirations for it. I think now this will probably spawn maybe, if not a franchise, a TV series or something on the back of it. It's ripe, I think, for remaking, reinvention or rebooting this. I've got the trailer for you. It's from 1974. It's on 9:05 tonight, folks. You might want to set your record for it on Talking Pictures TV, which is Freeview, of course. It's Captain Kronos, Vampire Hunter.
In the 18th century in Central Europe, a black terror swept across the face of the land. The curse of vampirism, which had been a half-forgotten memory for hundreds of years, returned with a fury that struck unholy fear into the hearts of every man, woman, and child. One man dared to make a stand against this evil epidemic. One man dared to hurl a challenge of cold steel against the terror of the undead. He was Captain Kronos, vampire hunter.
He certainly was, with his hunchback sidekick as well, so it's a kind of beyond camp vampire hunting movie. 9:05 tonight, Talking Pictures TV. And you've gone for another BBC One film tomorrow night, Saturday night, 10:35pm. Tell us about Game Night. It's fight night for us here on the talkSPORT network. Tell us about Game Night.
Well, I'm a huge fan of this. Is one of my favourite comedies of the last few years. This stars Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams, who I think we all forget generally is a very solid, very game comedic actress. Like, she really does know how to handle this, considering she started out really in a Rob Schneider comedy all the way back when. This is about a group of, a trio of couples, effectively, who get together, I think once a week in this case, to play games, to play board games and games of chance, as we're told by Jesse Plemons at one point. Jason Bateman's character has an older brother who he finds a bit arrogant, who he's constantly in this sort of game of one-upmanship. His brother comes to visit one day and sets a new game for them that then very quickly goes out of hand. And before you know it, they're on this madcap, almost midnight run style adventure where they're not sure what's real and what's part of this game. This is on BBC One tonight at 10:35. It is written and directed by John Francis Daley and Jonathan Goldstein, who gave us Horrible Bosses and the incredible Burt Wonderstone, which is one of my faves as well, with Jim Carrey and Steve Carell. And they've gone on to the Spider-Man franchise, I think, now. But this goes all sorts of nuts. It's a very dark, very adult comedy. It's very suspenseful. It's got a few twists in it. But I'll let Kyle Chandler set the premise up for you as he outlays this weird game that he's got in store for them.
So 10:35 tomorrow night, BBC One, Game Night.
In the next hour, someone in this room is going to be taken. And it's going to be up to you to find them before they are murdered.
Ooh. Oh, it's a murder mystery party.
Not just any murder mystery. I found this company, they do it super real. They use legit actors. You're not going to know what's real and what's fake.
Fun!
But that's not all. Because whoever finds the victim wins the grand prize. The keys to the Stingray.
What?
Wow.
Just the keys?
No, Ryan, the whole car.
Oh, yes! Oh, man. You're so lucky I brought you to this game night, not one Max Annie's.
Hey.
No, I just mean because this is better.
Oh.
So that's Game Night. That's tomorrow night, 10:35pm, BBC One. I've gone for something far more mainstream. Film 4, 6:25 tomorrow evening, so it's kind of good time for the family to watch with older kids. You've probably seen it, folks. Unbelievably to me, A Knight's Tale starring Heath Ledger is 20 years old this year. I mean, I wouldn't have thought, where did those 2 decades go? It's got a great soundtrack, of course, because they end up dancing to David Bowie, and when they hit London, it's The Boys Are Back in Town from Thin Lizzy, and there's a wooden version of the Millennium Wheel. So it's a very witty film, directed by Brian Helgeland, starring, as I've said, the late Heath Ledger. Also, Paul Bettany's brilliant in it as the father of English poetry, Geoffrey Chaucer, the man who gave us the Canterbury Tales. Mark Addy's great in it. Alan Tudyk is fantastic and does a very good English accent, I think, in this, as this kind of slightly psychopathic sidekick of the man pretending to be a knight, which is Heath Ledger's character. He's raised a commoner and a kind of blacksmith's son. He wants to be a great jouster. Rufus Sewell's in it as a brilliant baddie. James Purefoy turns up as the Black Prince. It's a great mad film, A Knight's Tale from 2001. Here's the trailer.
My lords, my ladies, I have the pride, the privilege, nay, the pleasure of introducing to you a knight, sired by knights.
William Thatcher didn't make the rules. He was born.
I've waited my whole life for this moment.
To break them.
Yes! Thank you, I'll be here all week.
Well, that was different. And you Ulrich von Liechtenstein from Gelderland.
Sir Ulrich von Liechtenstein. I would have him win my heart.
You're my favourite knight.
He's won 4 tournaments in a row.
On a horse, that man is unbeatable.
You're just a silly boy with a horse and a stick.
It's called a lance.
Although when they actually made the film, they researched it, of course, they found out or reminded themselves that jousting was as big as football back in the day, attracted huge crowds. I just wish they'd had the courage to call the fictitious part of Europe where he supposedly comes from Helgoland, after the director, because they call it something like Gelderland or Genderland or something, but Helgoland.
Something like that, yeah.
It's a film for tomorrow night, 6:25 A Knight's Tale, and my Sunday recommendation is at 2:40 in the afternoon, again from the start of this century, the year 2000 this time, on great exclamation mark movies. It's Shanghai Noon, Jackie Chan, Owen Wilson. Pretty much as you might expect, a Chinese princess disappears. Jackie Chan is sent as this ace warrior to retrieve her, get her back safely, meets up with the rapscallion that is Owen Wilson, and the sequel to it, Shanghai Nights, is on straight afterwards. So if you fancy a double dose of Jackie Chan and Owen Wilson, first film was better, second one's not bad, and I love the title of the first one, not High Noon, Shanghai Noon. That's 2:40, Sunday afternoon on Great Movies. And tell us about your final recommendation, another family film, but a slightly twisted one. Van Connor.
Well, this weekend sees the release of the animated Addams Family 2 in cinema, because obviously Universal rebooted that 2 or 3 years ago as an animated property. But this is the original 1991 adaptation. It was the first theatrical effort. This is from director Barry Sonnenfeld, who'd go on to give us Men in Black and Get Shorty. And this is pretty much what most people, I think, under 40 would think the Addams Family is, because we didn't really have the sitcom shown on TV from the sort of mid-80s onwards. But this is Raul Julia, cast to perfection. This is Angelica Houston, born to play it. Christopher Lloyd, who manages to somehow do this outside of all the iconic roles he's otherwise played, and of course makes an instant child star out of Christina Ricci as Wednesday Addams. And they are the gothic, macabre, by today's standards, you'd call them almost Tim Burton-esque monster family who live in the creepy house on the top of the hill, as depicted in the famous Charles Addams comic strips that then became the series, then became this. And in this movie, they have the long-lost Uncle Fester return to them as part of a scheme by, I think this is a corrupt lawyer and client, to fleece the Addams family out of their vault full of billions in gold. But I've got a clip for you that's just the family sat around the table being the Addams family in that perfect way. And this is on ITV2, 2 on Sunday afternoon. It's the perfect Sunday afternoon film, I think. But I will say, I'll get a bat for Shanghai Noon as well, just for the name Chong Wayne.
Chong Wayne. So watch one.
Chong Wayne.
Chong Wayne. Really. Watch one, record the other one. Addams Family, ITV2, Sunday afternoon, 2:25 p.m. Here we go.
Did you sleep well?
Like the dead. Really? Who would have thought the Bermuda Triangle could change a man so much? You used to toss and turn all night. We had to chain you to the bedpost.
Doesn't make sense.
The Bermuda Triangle is a very strange and mysterious place. You'd be surprised at all the things you don't know.
She certainly would. Wednesday adores the Bermuda Triangle. She studies it. Death at sea. She's hooked.
Ask me anything.
Brilliant stuff there, Van. And remind us how we can hear you and our Monday regular Rebecca Perfect in podcast from, I think, later on today. Is that right?
You can hear us at 6 a.m. on podcast platforms every Friday with the ultimate 7-day movie guide for the following week, giving you everything new in cinemas, on TV, streaming and DVD.
Called Off Screen, of course. Van Connor and Rebecca Perfect. Van's back with us next Friday. Rebecca joins us Monday for a showbiz guide, tech news as well, plus TV and film latest on talkSPORT and talkRADIO, where we're live till 5.